ways that he communicated his ideas were just really effective, and the one-on-one help that he gave you was just all you could ask for.
I think just the discussions that we did have in Mr. Hutchinson's classes were very based on his questions that he asked, and I think the questions provoked a lot of meaningful answers, whereas in the other class I took, it was more of a summary of the plot instead of describe, what you think is going on, and it was more depth.
I think the way that he incorporated a lot of different methods, for instance, we started off working in groups, and sometimes that can be a good thing for some people and sometimes that can be a bad thing, but what I came away with that is that you have a lot to learn from your peers and their way of understanding and their perspective as well, and I actually ended up really enjoying working with my group. So we started off working as a group, we got to work as individuals. That kind of breakup really helps us apply what we learn in our class to real-world examples.
I guess you could say not all these readings were the standard readings you would receive in English class. Like, for example, the poems we had these last few weeks were kind of, they were kind of hard to digest. They were hard. You had to read them several times to get them to a meaning. We had to discuss them in class.
Changed the way I think. I don't know that it changed the way I think as much as it did develop the way I think or enhance my perspective.
And in a few of the classes actually, he had us all sit in a circle and just sort of talk about what we thought was going on in different sources of literature, and it was very, I guess, insightful to hear what other people were thinking when they were reading the same thing that I had read, because oftentimes it was very different from what I had gotten out of it.
Well, to start out with, when we came through the door, he turned my writing world upside down. So the way that I viewed writing and the way that papers were constructed and the way we made our arguments, that was the first thing that turned everything upside down. When I came to Carolina, I had come out of a high school English department that was, in my opinion, was subpar. I wasn't confident in my writing skills, and the way Mr. Hutchins instilled confidence in me, I was able to push through having those disabilities coming in, and he put me on the level of all the other students.
He helped me become a better writer by giving me really good feedback. Sometimes what you need in order to develop and grow as a writer is someone to tell you, hey, this looks good and this looks bad and this is what you can do better, and that's what he did.
I guess the main thing that he did, that he helped me with, is that he really made it so that I'm not just writing randomly. I'm writing for a certain audience and saying certain things, so I don't have to just ramble on or have a lot of filler in my paper. My writing becomes concise but to the point as well.
The assignments Mr. Hutchins has provided me have made me think, basically they made me think harder than I have in English class before about what I have to say and how should I say it in writing. So really I made myself a better writer through his assignments.
The one thing that I remember about his class would probably be the humor in writing that he brought, because he was able to make writing fun, but at the same time it was very instructional. It wasn't just a do-nothing class. It was definitely a learning experience for everybody in the room, and every day it was a memory. Every day was one thing that I remember. I remember each day pretty much was a new thing every time I walked through the door.
Well, besides him coming in a bright yellow jacket the first day of class, the one thing I'll definitely remember is Mr. Hutchins has a sense of intimacy with the students. I think that a lot of teachers don't have and don't really care to have. I feel like to Mr. Hutchins it matters if we succeed or not. I feel like if I was doing poorly, Mr. Hutchins would certainly come to me and ask me what's going on.
I think the major thing that I remember is that he was very accessible. It was very easy to just walk in and say, I need help with this, or I think I did this right, but I'm not really sure. A lot of other teachers and classes that I've had, they're here to do research and they kind of rush you out of their office hours.
The one thing I would have to remember about Mr. Hutchins is I think he really changed my expectations of what an English class in college was going to be, because I came in as a freshman expecting something really impersonal and work heavy. Like I expected like paper, but that's not what I got. I got interacting with other people and like engaging you to think about the material, and this really wasn't what I expected.
I think there's a lot of things I'll remember, but primarily it's going to be his enthusiasm. I've never really had an instructor come into a class that excited about teaching. And like I said earlier, being able to come into a really early class and wake up a whole bunch of college students it's hard. But he does it, and he does it because he enjoys what he's doing, clearly, and he's a very energetic and enthusiastic person.
Don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. Anyone else but me. No, no, no.